Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sunny, and today we are going to dive into one of the most powerful concepts in Angular services. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, this video will guide you how to create a service in Angular and how to use it. So let's get started. So first of all, we have to understand what are Angular services. So Angular services are the classes that provide reusable and shareable functionality across multiple components. So this help keep us to create modular programs and maintain our programs by separating the business logic from the components. Okay, now let's understand why should be used services in Angular. First, they help with separation of concerns, keeping component logic clean and focused. Secondly, they promote code reusability by allowing us to use the same service in multiple components. And third one is they are excellent for data sharing between unrelated components, and they can handle the asynchronous operations like API calls without blocking the UI. So now we will understand the concept of Angular by practically creating a service and using it. So now let's create a service. So in this example, uh, we will not keep the name of the service same as in this example. So I will reuse my previous service, data service, which we had created for one of the last video application in which I was explaining about the like a data sharing or uh, in which uh, we were discussing about sending data from one page to another. So we are going to use the same service. And how to create a service in Angular: ng component service and name of the service, like this one, ng generate service user. In this example, with this command, if you want to create a new service named user, we have to give this command. We will Now let's say we want to show a listing of users in my page. I will be using the this my first component. So here I will be creating a grid or listing for the users, and this time we are going to load this listing from an array instead of actually executing or dispatching the API. So I will follow the example. First of all, let's assume uh, in user component, as we already have understood, uh, how can we use ng for ng if and create functions. So let's assume I'm going to create a user list in my first component. So, I think, welcome to data service. Yeah, this is also coming from the API. Mhm. Yeah. So now what we are going to do here, user list, and under it I will be creating a one array like this one. I will create this on bottom, so the whole code for the service example remains in the same place. So here what I did, I created two variables. One is user, which will store the list of arrays, list of users, and this one is user for selecting a particular user or specific user from a list. So now you can see we don't have a user. For now, this list is empty. So what we are going to do, we already have initialized our service in our constructor. So now what I will be doing on my uh, service file, I will be creating a a list of users like this one. It will be a static list. Let's assume I'm going to create it. Private user is equal to id1, name is 2. So I'm going to create a list of two users, and now I have to call it. So now I will be creating a method get users, and this dot users like this one. Oh, I have to return it. So that's why the error is coming. Return this dot users. What is the problem here? Private user, this one. Return this user. ID string. It should be working actually. Not sure why it's okay. Yeah. So for now, I am declaring it as a any. So now I have to get this call this function from my first component. So let's assume let's call it on init. On init is one of the life cycle hook available in Angular. So what are life cycle hooks? For this, I will be creating another video in future. So now what I have to do, users is equal to this dot users equal to this one, and I'm going to data service this dot data service dot get users like this one. So let's refresh the page, and there is some error. It may be from cannot find name as first component line number 44. There is some error. What is this error? Well, I'm surprised. What is this error? The cannot find name as. Where is the name as? First component 44 45. So line number 44. This dot user is equal to this one, and we are just okay. This dot data service dot get users like this. Now I have to store this value in my variable. This dot users is equal to this one. Yes, and now I have to console it to see the result in my page, or I can see directly here. Let's not use console as well. users and JSON. So right now there is no data or something, but there is data actually. So why it is okay? Let's use console. This dot users is not a function. Data service 28. Yes, I know what is the error. So we have to call this. This is not a function. It is right. So you can see now our when we are calling the function from the service, it is returning result. ID name is, and it should be displaying the same in my page as well. So here, what I did on ng init, this dot users is this one. This dot user. On this dot users. So this variable is actually storing the data. Yes, sometime it could take a time actually. So we have data now in the screen. So now with the help of a for each loop, we can display the list in our page. And we have already learned how to use for each loop in Angular. So what I'm going to do is I will create a UL here. This is a one of the UL li inside star ng4 ng4 star is equal to uh, let user of users, like this one user is a variable, and we can now print user JSON user, sorry. Let's print it. Okay, let's print JSON with the help of a JSON pipe. Yes. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same code to save my time. Yeah, so like this one. So we have id name is, yeah. So you can see like this one, we can print out it. This will also work. Okay, so this is how we can print a list of users in my screen. Unexpected closing tag, there is some again problem at this one. So now it should work. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to create a button on which I will just create a on click function, and on the click event I will be adding a new user. So what I'm going to do, I will use the same HTML. So here high we have to create a function in our first component, this one. Then I will be following the same example. What I'm going to do, so this is the third user which I'm going to add, and let me explain you. So I created a new user, constant. I declare this constant new is equal to id3 name is it, and we will send a request to our data service. So on data service, where we have to create a new function like this one. So right now there is no function, so we have to go to data service, we have to create this one, and like this. So here we have to get this user, and then we have to push this user in our previous previous array. So this dot users, I will use the syntax for pushing the uh, value in a previous array. So how can we do, like this one, this users push new user. For now I'm putting it any. If we want, we can create an interface as well, but that's okay for now. And if we want, then we can do it. Let's try out it. So add new user. Now this button is not visible in my screen. Where is it? Let's refresh it. So now what I'm going to do is, after user hit on this button, it will send request. In this function it will send request to this data service, add user function. It will be pushing new user in my previous list, and then after pushing it again, I will call this line number 48 to, to get the new list, so that new result get displayed in this page, line number 11 to 15. So let's see. Yeah, we have a, you see it should work. Yeah, like this it should work. So you can see whenever I want to update my list, I have to add a user from here, like this one, and it will update my previous array which is already declared in a service file. So this is how we can use services in our components, and benefit of it is the functions which we created inside of our this service can be used in multiple components, so data can be shared across components. So this is the benefit of this is a practical example of where we can be beneficial by creating the services inside Angular. So now let's understand one more thing, dependency injection. So dependency injection is one of the important pattern in Angular. So I would say that this is one of like design pattern. So whenever you see any file in Angular where we see this keyword at the rate injectable, at the rate injectable, this is one of the decorator in Angular. So that makes the, and inside it, whenever we declare this with this line number 8 provide in root, so it mean at the rate injectable provide in root decorator make the service available throughout the application without needing to add it to the providers array in the module. So whenever we declare it like this provide in root, it means now this service is globally available through our application. So now this is one of another example. I'm not going to use it in this example. We are like dispatching API call instead of creating a array, but it should similarly work. So in this video, my target was to explain you the benefit of service and how to use it. So I will share this content in description of the YouTube video. So, and I will deploy my latest code in Git as well. We'll share the Git repository link in YouTube video. So guys, this was a explanation about Angular services, and if you like my video, please do share, like, and if you could share it with your friends as well who want to learn Angular or are learning Angular, so I will be thankful to you. So let's catch up in another video again. So till then.